Welcome back, sixth graders. This is Ms. Hall, your ARC teacher for today, and I'm glad to have you with us. So let's jump into our lesson. So we're going to continue focusing on our research lab with space as our theme, and we're going to dive into some physical characteristics today. So our I can statement is, I can make comparisons between other planetary moons and Earth using informational text. Now keep in mind, we're really focusing on physical characteristics today. So if you're researching other topics, same gist, but we're looking at physical characteristics. So let's talk a little bit about what we need for today's lesson. You'll need a few items. As always, I highly recommend that you have that notebook handy so you can take those great notes that I know you're keeping up with. So you also need a hard copy or electronic version of our articles for today. There are two today, so make sure you have both. The first one is titled Understanding the Lakes on Saturn's Moon, Titan. And the second one is titled Titan's Tides. Now keep in mind, we will reference both the articles today as we're going through our lesson, and it will be a great option for you to have both handy with you as we're going through today's lesson. Additionally, if you have it, a hard copy or electronic version of our RQ for today, that will be great. If not, don't worry, your teacher will reference it when it's time for you to do your research. I will have a modified version of the RQ with us as we go along, so it is highly recommended that you do have a hard copy or electronic version of it. But again, we're doing this together, so no biggie. As always, have that pen or pencil with you, and because we're fancy here, always have that highlighter to add a little pump to your notes. You ready to get started? Let's jump in. So today we're focusing our attention on making some comparisons for the sake of research. And we do that because we want to make sure that we're not just showcasing what we already know about the topic, but also highlighting some things that we are learning as we go through the research process. So for here, this is a perfect opportunity to pause the video and add these notations to your ELA notebook. So let's take a look at what we have here. When you're making comparison, here's some great rules to keep in mind. So keep in mind, we're looking for both similarities and differences. And this could be seen in a lot of different formats, whether it's charts, graphs, images, or just plain out written in paragraph format as well. Now, we're going to organize in a couple of different ways today, mainly in the form of a T-chart, but you may see it in the form of a Venn diagram or just little notes for yourself. So whatever works for you, that's absolutely fine. Also, keep in mind, we want to avoid any type of personal opinions or assumptions. We're not researching our opinions, we're researching for facts. Last but not least, this ties into our avoiding assumptions. Because we're only looking for facts, we're looking for verifiable data to support the facts that we're finding out about whatever it is that we're researching, whether it's space technology, planets, moons, you name it. And then always, always look for experts in that field. Think about when we read a couple articles ago where it talked about that NASA scientist that made a quotation. Perfect example of expert information that we can pull as supporting evidence in our text. And then one thing I want us to take special note of is this bullet here. In research, we're not just looking at one article and done for today. This will require us to potentially look at multiple sources, whether it's a newsletter, an article, a book, you name it, the more, the better. So now's the time we're going to pause the video and actually read one of the two articles. The article I want you to focus on is Titan's Tides. And as you're reading this article, I want you to make sure you have your notebook out as well, because I want you to jot down a couple of similarities that you notice between the moon Titan and Earth. So again, you're going to pause the video now, read Titan's Tide, and you're going to list some similarities between planet Earth and the moon Titan. I hope you're able to find some great similarities between Titan and Earth. Now keep in mind, we'll look at those similarities momentarily, but we're going to jump into some excerpts from the text. Let's jump in there. This was from what you just read, Titan's Tides, Looking for Life in Lunar Lakes and Oceans. Keep in mind that one of our tips that we discuss is looking at headers to help us define or come up with supporting details and main ideas for the text that we're reading today. So let's look at Enceladus. I have mine written here. Enceladus is one of Saturn's moons. In 2005, NASA's Cassini spacecraft noticed something strange near its surface. Jets of water vapor, carbon dioxide, and other gases were exploding from cracks near the moon's south pole. Beneath the moon's surface, volcanic activity stirs up a liquid ocean. Scientists think that life on Earth first evolved around similar vents or openings on the sea floor. Carolyn Porco is a team leader for the Cassini mission. She said Thursday that the moon shows promise. Some scientists think it may be the best place in the solar system to look for life, she said. So from this excerpt, I want you to identify some similarities between planet Earth and Enceladus. So I noticed a couple of similarities here. In the text, it mentions that jets of water vapor, carbon dioxide, and other gases were exploding from cracks near the moon's south pole. That sounds very similar to what happens here on planet Earth. Do you see anything else? Exactly. Right here it states that beneath the moon's surface, volcanic activity stirs up a liquid ocean. Now on planet Earth, that liquid ocean is called what? Lava. Sounds very similar, right? Do you see anything else? Now I want us to take special note of this next sentence because it explicitly states what scientists feel about the similarities between Earth and Enceladus. Scientists think that life on Earth first evolved around similar vents or openings on the sea floor. Those are your similarities there, very similar. This last sentence stands out to me as well because the author provides us explicit words that states how scientists feel that planet Earth and Enceladus are very similar. Enceladus may be the best place in the solar system to look for life. That's exciting news, right? Now we're going to take a look at another excerpt from our second article. This article is titled, Understanding the Lakes on Saturn's Moon Titan. Now keep in mind, I didn't have us to pause the video to read the article only because we're pulling excerpts from this text only. So it's okay if you didn't read it in its entirety. Let's take a look. Titan's methane-filled northern seas. In our solar system, only Titan and Earth have liquid on the surface. On Earth, the hydrologic cycle is the movement of water on, over, and below the surface of the Earth. Ocean water evaporates or turns to vapor, forming clouds and rain. The water then returns to the Earth's surface and the cycle continues. So my question to you is, how are Earth and Titan similar? This stood out to me as I was reading the text. Only Titan and Earth have liquid on the surface. Now I do want to bring to your attention that it lists a lot of characteristics that Earth may have. So as you're completing your research question organizer, you may want to list that as well. Speaking of organizer, I wanted you to at least put your eyes on here so that you'll see what you'll be using potentially as you're doing your research. Now keep in mind, you are going to be able to make some comparisons between whatever topic you're researching and that of something that you're familiar with, like Earth, Sun, etc. This allows you to have some background and a frame of reference as you're continuing your research process. Let's take a look at one last excerpt. And this is from what we paused and read earlier, which was Titan's Tides, Looking for Life in Lunar Lakes and Oceans. Question for you is, what discoveries are scientists making about Earth? Let's read together. Earth. There are parts of Earth's oceans that are as unknown to scientists as any extraterrestrial sea. Scientists didn't discover life forms around deep sea vents until 1977. Before then, they thought the dark, deep ocean must be a lifeless place. Now they see more possibilities to discover strange new life in the deep sea as they do in space. Of all the earthbound sciences, said Chris German, a scientist at Woods Hole, the ocean sciences might be about as close to possible as the science of space. So again, our question was, what discoveries are scientists making about Earth? Do you see anything that stands out? Let's highlight together. Scientists didn't discover life forms around deep sea vents until 1977. That's within some of our parents' lifetime, so that's pretty recent. Do you see anything else that stands out for you? I want to take special note of this area. Deep ocean must be a lifeless place. Keep in mind, before 1977, they thought there was nothing in the deep blue sea. However, they see more possibilities to discover strange new life in the deep blue sea as they do in space. You see the comparison there? Anything else? Last but not least, we definitely want to take note of any quotes from any experts in the field. Here's our expert, Chris German, and his quote: "The ocean sciences might be about as close to possible as the science of space." Remember we talked about support with verifiable data? This is a prime example of using expert as that verifiable data for us. So again, what discoveries are scientists making about Earth? Here's what I concluded. Just like other planets and moons in our solar system, scientists are still learning more new extraordinary facts about Earth. If you want to pause the video to add a couple more items in your notes, that's perfectly fine. But I do want you to think about this as you're planning out your research process. Consider for your research, we're in the space unit, but we're not saying you only want to research space. There's so much information out there that's just waiting for us to grab and learn about. So consider space technology. What equipment are used to study life outside of our planet? Moons, not just Earth. Yes, we have one moon, but other planets have multiple moons out there. For example, Saturn with Titan and Enceladus. You get that word right? I struggle with it too, and that's okay. How about space exploration? Where are we in that journey of space exploration? And there's so much more to consider. So we're not just exploring and learning about the planets. There's galaxies, Milky Ways, so much more information that's out there for us. Last but not least, please take some time to read independently, whether you're researching or just reading for fun. This would be a great opportunity to read up on Titan or Enceladus. Perfect. And as always, if you're not sure what will be a great book to read right now, speak with a friend, a teacher, your media specialist, anyone. They'll be glad to share some ideas with you. As always, it's great hanging out with you. I hope you picked up some great notes for our future research, and I'll see you soon.